Yep.
Unless Carrier just pulls out the Rumble support. Not going to be the case, as expected. We will see what he actually ends up locking in, but as T1 actually picking their whole draft in order, which is always cute. This is the one team that I trust, because I think the Pantheon support has really looked very lackluster to execute on this, is specifically T1. We've seen, even in their matchups against teams that are insanely strong, they're able to very consistently find these early mid-game advantages, and that's what the whole comp thrives around, right? You want to get the resets with Neferi, you want to play with a really strong jungle 2v2, and when you have a support that allows for setup as well, allows you to really snowball the game. If we do get to the teamfight stage though, and the laning phase doesn't end up collapsing for Hanwha Life, that 5v5, oh boy.
Absolutely huge one here. Owner on the Neferi. We know that Owner has been in incredible form, but I don't know whether it necessarily is a composition that can stand up to what HLE have put together here as we jump onto the Rift for game one. Jostling for position here on the bottom side. Man, I'm so excited about Akami, but I need to stay focused on the Saturday Showdown.
That's us, Atlas. We're always focused. Sometimes in roundabout ways, but that's okay. As we do
We're focused on something.
Yeah, fighting for early position. The Corki has not been living a great life so far.
That's continuing to happen here as Carrier also down to sub 200 health. And Smash's cleanse is already on cooldown. Delight does have his Ignite, realizing that they don't have enough time to get back. So they will be waiting for this lane as Zeka and Faker fighting, but Faker actually doing pretty well here as Carrier going to get interrupted. Zona's coming up towards the top side of the map to see whether he can punish his former top laner. Let's see whether it's going to work out here as Doran looking for some harpoons. He just flashes on him. There's the boot back, and Zeus knows that he is 100% dead. First blood going over to Owner is exactly what T1 want with this composition.
Very straightforward. Gank here. This shouldn't be a surprising timing. I wonder if...
that's a nice knock-up as well. Faker is really dead, guys. Permafrost is a thing, and Zeka also just going to come on over. Peanut presses no button. The upsides outweigh the downs. Okay, speaking of downs, Faker is taking a bit of damage here, but Peanut not able to find too much. Doesn't have level 6 as Carrier is making his way in. Immediate flash out from this Sejuani, and Peanut's in so much trouble. Doran's going to cook him. That equalizes.
Shouldn't have to pay for it. Instead, actually ends up paying pretty handily. What I do have to note, though, is that with that roam, Zaze was able to get a play towards the bot side, which means that even with the assist, Gold stays relatively close as Delight going in. Carrier does have flash, might have to use it here.
Yeah, Peanut is just running forward. Zeka just joins in what the line was.
Well, I'm a guy that loves to see lines everywhere, even when they might not necessarily be there.
I think the line that we had was, it wasn't very good. That was the line. As Zeus is going to walk down the line himself, and immediately he's harpooned, realizing that he's going to have to try and turn this one. Owner coming down, and Doran is just going to leave it for him. Let's see whether Zeus can get any magic done. And he's trying to avoid some of the daggers here. Does do so, goes to the skies, and then dies. That is going to be another kill.
Peanut should be able to get this. Was a little close, but not actually going to be in any danger. But T1, again, as they should, building a lead.
Oh dear, Smash going to get bullet time. Does Valkyrie his way out. Carrier taking a lot of damage here, but so is Delight. Now that Aftershock is away. The flash forward, and Viper just silences him. Smash able to offer a fair bit back, had some cooldowns, and Owner was making his way in. There's the flash forward, the 2-0 Neferi avoids the CC and takes down the MF. Delight will survive, and now Peanut here on the bottom side, looking to try and dish back some punishment of his own. They do manage to take down the Rumble. Peanut will survive, and they'll get more plates.
Owner got Delight as well. Hanwha Life feel confident, nice setup there on Smash, is able to Valkyrie out, and then here, obviously with the Pantheon, you're going to feel pretty confident, but Delight's able to flash out. Viper just gets to you with his PTA, love tap him down, but then Smash still doing damage on the side, and then Owner just gets in, uses the W there to ensure that he's untargetable, and then I think it's just the dogs in the bleed.
Yeah, bottom side, Zeus and Delight down here. 2v3 at the moment, and T1 thinking about this dive. Carrier starting it off as Delight able to tank up decently well. Looks for the crash down onto the Neferi. And now Viper makes his way over. T1 take that as a sign to disengage, and I think it's understandably so, as Peanut once again getting bothered by Doran a little bit as he takes down another objective, but this time it's just going to be an evening out of the grubs.
Get to the 5v5, and the state of the game is as it is right now. He might be in trouble.
Immediate interruption. There's the Magnet Storm as well onto Carrier. Viper in a bit of trouble though. as T1 and HLE just trading a bunch of spells on the bottom side. Peanut looks for Doran though once again, and with Zeus here, it is more punishment for the Rumble, and this time Ona unable to find anything.
They're going to be forced to take fights that they really don't want to, as in they go.
Oh dear. Carrier does put up the shield, but I don't know about it. Does taxi his way over to Delight, but Viper is going to close the distance, and that is Peanut locking down the kill. That should spell the second feel like Ona's able to do enough. And even if they kill Zeus, is this even good enough to try and even things out? As Equalizer comes down as well, Zeus seeing what he can get done here. Actually boops Ona away and then uses him to taxi to the turret. That was gorgeous.
Very nice. It doesn't even flash. And now the Drake gets taken. The crux of it is this. If T1 is the one engaging, this comp looks amazing. But if you are, say, a Pantheon and Peanut finds you, you're just not getting out. There's no way. Oh my god. Forces the flash!
Yeah, Doran's gonna have to flash, and that is once again Zeus with a flash advantage after getting ganked.
Again.
Cannot get caught by that.
Which T1 also aware of. And I do want to highlight T1. Oh.
Well, they're gonna look for Zeus once again. He knocks Doran away, does use the flash this time, as Carrier should have a stun back up. He tries to go for it, but Smash turns up.
And make sure that Humble Life don't get to just continue scaling into this game.
And Peanut as well, you just saw there, this is why the Sejuanis are often banned if you're planning to play Neferi. Because we saw, like, there is a decent lead for Ona still. He's a 4-0 Neferi, and Peanut seems to not care at all. He's now walking up towards Smash here at the same time, who does have Cleanse, but he can't cleanse twice. So Permafrost comes in, Glacial Prison as well, and that is a dead Corki. But now the rest of the cavalry have arrived, and Bristle and Sedge are going to get removed. One for one as in goes Ona. Delight trying to survive, and he will do so for now as Zeka unbinds the soul, looks to find an angle, and there's a gorgeous ulti. Doran's gonna lie down as well, and Delight is still alive. Finally he falls, but it has to be in trade for Carrier's life. And now Zeus, he's teleported back in. They want to get this shut down as the Doggos block the shock blast, but I just don't think it's enough. There it is, and the shutdown goes to the chase.
It ends up being the big difference maker.
Yeah, this guy, we know he's pretty good at the Yone, but he's demonstrating exactly why he's so incredibly feared. And this looked like it was getting dicey, and then it was this ulti in the other direction. It was just so gorgeously done. Let's have a look at it in real time as Peanut's just going to miss an ult. Understandably so, and of course, Faker is pretty slippery on this Ahri.
Does get the flash though. Zeka also investing his.
Cloud Dragon is going to be attempted. Rift Herald already thrown down here at the same time. HLE just trying to cause some distractions as Carrier dives into the backline. An immediate cleanse from Viper though, and Carrier is in so much trouble. But there's a huge fight elsewhere. Zeus is getting cooked as Doran doing so much work. The rest of HLE are now stuck in the Thunderdome as Zeka trying to take matters into his own hands. Somehow Smash gets the dragon. What the hell was that? But Zeka is a monster on the bottom side of the fight and then snaps back to destroy the rest of them. Viper grabbing so many kills. And with two of these carries left alive, Faker able to teleport his way out. But that is not going to win them the fight as HLE, they don't walk away with the dragon, but I think that was out of turret in mid lane.
That's faster. But
that's all right. Peanut is in a little bit of trouble. Charm does come down, but Faker is hit by a prison. And
to get a pick onto someone. I think Viper is a tough target. Teleport comes in, and now this is the worst case scenario for a comp like this. You are out of control of vision. You're going to just have to face check. No one really likes doing that on T1, and they're going to go for the late contest. The objective is gone, but looking for the fight here. Faker on a flank.
Yeah, in goes Carrier. We'll see whether they can get some of these petals, but it looks like the answer is absolutely not, as Zeka finds a gorgeous ulti. The layering of the bullet time there as well is just like poetry from HLE. And Ona is now running for the hills. Only him and Faker left alive, and Faker has his own problems here towards the top side. Delight gonna get engaged on, gets himself the shield from the crash down. And yes, Ona may be able to go untargetable, but that is only for a minuscule amount of time. Viper deals with the exit plan and then takes down the doggo. Zeka underneath this turret as well is a little bit worrisome, and Zeus wanting to take it down as there's the flash forward from Faker, looks for the angle and takes down Zeus. 1,000 gold lead. At 26 minutes, that is not end of the world, but HLE with full control of the map. I mean, the world is close to the end, but it's not fully doomed, you know? As Delight looking for an angle here as the Glacial Prison somehow misses Doran. He flashes away, That is still Flash now down.
At this point in the game, just from base armor, you're going to get more value out of LDR as well.
Yeah, Zeus might be in trouble, but he flashes absolutely everything. And Ona, he's gone untargetable, seeing whether he can survive. He's burning, but it's not going to quite be enough. But now, oh, never mind. Somehow, it is the MF that picks up the kill, and there goes Faker at the same time. A double now for Viper, as Doran, can he actually be a hero here? I just don't really think there is much of an angle. He's looking to cook. Zeus does have the equalizer, but it doesn't really land on anyone. Zeka has found Smash as well, as the Valkyrie actually doing a fair bit, but just not enough to keep him alive, as Carrier is under the wrong turret. And so therefore, he is very, very dead. He's going to see whether he can kill some minions and stuff like that. Gets a ward down. But HLE, they're already on the Baron, and this game is over, ladies and gentlemen. Knocking on the door. Speaking of knocking on the door, they're going to be able to look towards bottom side of the map. Peanut is going to turn an engage from T1 into an engage of his own as Carrier dives in, but immediately goes to half health. There's the Magnus Storm from Delight as well. And the MF a little bit late on the bullet time there because the target was already destroyed as they march towards the Nexus turrets now. Equalizer goes down, largely in defense though, as Doran now having to deal with Zeus, and he's not able to do so even a little bit. Ona dives in because he may as well. And there's the flash forward from Zeka, gets the knock up onto Smash. Permafrost not in range, and it doesn't even need to be, because Zeka's there with enough damage. That's a clean ace. That's going to be a clean kill on a couple of these Nexus turrets. And HLE, welcome to the LCK. It's good to see you still in phenomenal form after first stand.
박을게. 아리 와도 돼. 아리 개피. 아리 노공, 아리 노공. 좋은데? 나필이 노플이야 이거. 빵 거 봐도 돼. 아리 노플. 한태원. 나 라인 하는 중. 럼블 리컷 깔릴게요. 라인 끝내 생각으로 하자 얘들아 이번에. 라인 올게요. 끝내 생각으로 하자. 너네가 스택 쌓고 블래시로. 내가 볼게. 내가 뭉쳐는 있지 마. 나필이 노플. 이거 포탑 천천히 쳐봐. 디퍼 포탑 천천히 쳐봐. 나 스택 나오면 스택 할게. 디바로 킵하고 한번. 다음 웨이브에 끝내 생각해야겠다. 미드 라인 싸워도 된다. 여기. 나필. 여기 맞아. 나필이 노플이야. 나필. 안 죽어. 한테 나와. 그렇게 끊겼다. 그렇게 노플. 나이스. 뒷라인 오고. 좋은데?
Side, but this first game, How Alive, the game one Kings showing their presence here again.
Oh yeah, and using a lot of draft resources, I guess you could say, in order to get there. I think if you're a T1 fan, game 3. Talon is obviously the choice.
It's a setup for dives, right? Like going back to 2023, BLG was another team that was exceptional at this, at setting up early game dives off of the back of a strong 2v2 with that Poppy specifically, as we will see what ends up. I talked about this pick earlier. It is actually going to be Jarvan. I don't think this is necessarily the craziest Jarvan angle that I've seen, but this champion does have crazy good early ganks. Literally starting level 2, you have the capability of going for extremely strong ganks. But you are playing into Caitlyn does actually is a way of getting out of your ultimate, which is always one of the things you look toward. So we'll see. I think T1 definitely taking some liberties again. It's going to be Carry on their support. It's going to be Owner on the GA4. Whereas for Humble Life, you look at this draft and you go, well, they don't have engage support, but outside of that, that's looking pretty good.
Yeah, it's another one of these cases where HLE got kind of all of the things on the second rung that they would like to pick up. I would agree, as this is another beautiful draft put together by HLE. T1, let's see whether they can bring us to 3 games. We jump into the Rift. You're right here. You can defend yourself.
No, such crazy slander.
If I'm lying, you can say so.
I will not dignify that with a response.
And we all know what that means. We all know what that means. That means, Max, you are correct, and I don't want to get in trouble.
Is that Love Actually? I feel like I can remember Colin Firth saying that in a movie. I just don't know which movie.
I mean, that could have been so many. Maybe it was Bridget Jones's Diary instead.
I think it might be Bridget Jones, yeah.
I mean, they both have Hugh Grant and Colin Firth, so it's just hard.
So they did gain a favorable summoner trade. Zeka, as expected, is really suffering here. They can also go for Grass, particularly in these range versus melee matchup. Gonna get a ton of value there.
All right, it's been over a year since we've had a Jarvan game. That feels crazy.
That does feel crazy.
Huh. And it was Ona. taking on Canyon that time around as Zeka with Kingslayer able to get a bit of health back, but otherwise the matchup was different. And this time, the Kalista with the Ashe is looking to be working out quite well. As Faker, this could be a problematic scenario as Zeka is in a little bit of trouble, but never mind. Picks up the first blood. Top of the morning to you, says Peanut. As in the meantime, it's a nice handshake back. The Peacemaker as well from Viper able to help out with his
Kingslayer result.
Yep, never mind. Peanut, he is on the map yet again. This time, Owner is going to turn up and smash. Oh, Peanut goes in, flashes out immediately. Not caught under the turret as well as Owner gets the EQ flash, but doesn't hold him in range of that turret. Another chain going to connect here onto Faker, who does have the gravity field. But it is still a lot of damage done here by this Silas, feeling so much better after a handy first blood.
And Peanut having a crazy... Oh my god.
Okay. There's too much stuff happening, Chronicle.
Really is. Yeah, they're up.
Oh,
1k gold.
Yeah, Cannon getting denied here by Doran as there's the flash with the counter-strike as Zeus looking for more, but decides instead he is happy with that. However, Doran didn't even use his flash. So actually it's kind of okay, but it is a Cannon in advantage.
It's flash for Cannon.
And Delight and Peanut getting to work on these grubs. It looks like we're not going to have Owner actually go for anything here. As another Counter-Strike, this time with Grandmaster's Might from Zeus, but this time doesn't have access to his flash. Try and back that one up, and Doran just dashes his way out. Does not take down Carrier or hit him. As Doran once again going to get engaged on. Zeus looking for another angle as Doran just constantly having to deal with this Jax being a nuisance.
So much build and sustain.
Oh, public execution here onto Zeus as Doran's seeing whether he can get it done. Does have minions to contend with as well.
I did not think so, and so did Doran's Peanut.
Oh yeah, when becomes lightning, Carrier in a bit of trouble, but not going to be dead just yet.
Oh, wow, Carrier with the restraint there. Not actually going to use his flash, just uses the Ghost to deny the third auto. But the damage is already done, right? Like, he is low. Peanut might be able to set up the classic Q there on the turret, and there it is.
Yeah, looking for Smash here, and he's trying to dance his way out. Peanut's going to be dead, although the bailout is going to come in. It's just not going to do anything, so Smash is going to be able to lock that one down. Ace in the hole comes in from Viper. They have the Fate's Call, and things like this with Smash on his Kalista. Is the arrow going to get a flash out from Delight here as well towards his top side? And now that these level 6s have come in, maybe it's a time for T1 to fight back. The problem is HLE today just look like a completely different team to what we've seen from the last week and a half. You never know. Okay, Doran once again going in, but Zeus is just going to bonk him. Does get the shield, and the flash forward! It's answered! But the answer echoes into nothingness as Zeus grabs the solo kill on the bottom side.
They are just going to run into a giant meat grinder. As we take another look, so much damage to come through. There's the auto and the minion, and then the flash-empowered auto. And
are they going to make it so that 6 grubs isn't an absolute detriment here in the LCK?
Well,
or worldwide, should I say?
Well, they haven't given up a dragon, which normally is, you know, what I think makes that equation a little iffy.
Yeah, it's the giving up of anything.
That hasn't really transpired yet. No, I'm with you.
Well, Doran now just going to try and answer here.
They need to find a big outplay. They need to find a foothold back into this game because Humble Life is snowballing it very aggressively.
Yeah, the Demacian jungler face-off is possibly going to have some pressure as T1, they rotate their lanes around. They've got solos in the side lanes, and they've set up with their double AD carry in mid. Teleport comes in. The back, is it actually going to be in time? No, it's not, because he cancels it. And Doran, waiting in the brush, just going to dance away from Zeus as best he can. The Counter-Strike comes in, though, and Doran is just going to have to evacuate.
1v1 is not the best.
Oh dear. Speaking of 1v1s, Faker and Zeka at it once again as the arrow is going to sail by. In the meantime, another fight as Smash flashes over the wall. And the handshake onto Owner is going to get his flash as well. Peanut, he's over there, he's going in, and Owner is going out. That is the Peacemaker to lock him down. And a pick going over, a second one here for Viper is such a worry here for T1 fans.
Yeah, that expression by Owner really says it all. one of the biggest advantages that T1 have in their matchups against Gen G in particular, we've seen them show this against Hanwha as well, is how crisp their early to mid games are.
Oh, another flash from Zeus, and another solo kill from this Jax. It's hostile takeover to try and get Faker as Peanut. He goes in, and the ace in the hole is going to clean up a killing spree for Viper. This time, Peanut isn't even going to die. As that
barring a miracle, when T1 isn't winning early skirmishes, you know things are not on their best form. You know, players are normally so synced up, but right now, understandably, I think the Renata to me is the key piece to this. The fact that Peanut can play like a psychopath like that is because they have the bailout, because there is the threat of the ultimate. This is unfortunately an exhibition of why Zeus is considered pretty good at the video game. And then here, Faker gets the stun, walks off the ultimate, and then still just gets hit by both Peanut and Viper. Denied an entertaining series because this game is like...
And the thing is
also not great.
Yeah, it wasn't. And now HLE have decided to wake up, and just in time, as we can see, as Carrier is likely in trouble.
They need a turn.
Oh, Faker is
this the one?
Having some issues. This time HLE do have the inside track towards this topside fight, and Faker is very, very dead. So he's the first one to go down. Zeka grabbing yet another kill for himself. And the rest of HLE really were just wanting to know who they want to kill next. That is kind of the question. It's a smorgasbord here for these guys, as it's going to be Peanut taking down the Rift Herald. Carrier is in a little bit of trouble, but there is Fate's Call available here.
A Hail Mary, perhaps?
All right, Zeus going in. And the fact that he is here is very, very scary. But now, possible skirmish angle, as there's the public execution. Gets Doran into that back line, as Owner is going to be taken out in a second. But it's traded for Zeus, and that's a lot of money over to Smash. As a 1-for-1 in that isolated incident. However, Peanut going in, looking for Doran as Viper is going to turn up, layering these autos on top. But he does get himself the shield, gets himself out, as now Zeka fighting against Smash. Smash having a lot of mobility, not hit by the chains is really, really important. Wind becomes lightning, but doesn't become hitting Carrier. And so Rift Herald just going to be thrown into the mid lane. But otherwise, I mean,
Engage obviously isn't amazing, but they can even use the tools stolen with Silas to make that work.
Well, this is their engage. It's Peanut go in, and then everything else is layered on top. Faker just caught out in his own jungle.
You always like to be a little bit safe over statements.
Yep.
I feel safe.
Well, so does Zeus. Carrier does not feel safe, however, is going to be able to ghost and look for a way out. They're still slowing him down as Owner comes in, looks to try and catch the escape there from Viper, but unfortunately it doesn't quite work. Carrier gets out with the Fate's Call. Public execution gets Doran in there as there's a hostile takeover, as it's a battle between Carrier and Smash, and Carrier actually dies to Smash's red buff. Oh, it's a disaster. Zeus is going to suicide under the turret. Largely looking like a celebration here, though, as in goes Peanut once again.
Zeka, no!
Yeah, Smash not going to get another 1v1 with Zeka as he is.
I assume we're talking about the same thing. Like the black, gooey apple. Yeah, wonderful.
Well, Zeka's looking for a little bit of an angle here.
So they get out of con.
Yep. Well, they haven't yet, but it's not likely to be stolen.
This is not the series I was expecting today.
No, not at all. I thought we were having a 6-game banger today.
Well,
you know?
Really a glass half full kind of guy.
I really am. Not for Carrier and his ability to survive. However, he does have a Fate's Call. It is going to keep him alive for now. Zeus doing that thing where he kills Doran.
Up 2 levels.
As Arrow is going to sail by. Looked majestic in the meantime. As Owner's going to turn up and Zeus says, "Hi, buddy. It's good to see you again." Smash able to sidestep. The wind becomes lightning, but I just don't know whether that means anything at all. As, yeah, Faker versus Zeus here towards Zeka, towards the bottom side of the map. Chaos Storm comes out. Zeka says, all right, is the advantage. A teleport right into the enemy jungle as HLE stealing away all of the buffs at the same time. This inner, not long for the world, and it's the last one remaining. 6 turrets to 0 as the 6 grub stats are getting decimated.
Working out, and I think that this Baron is about to herald the end of this game, Atlas.
Yep. They're trying to keep Zeus out, but Zeka will find Doran in the side. Not going to find too much more, though, as now Zeus may have bitten off more than he could chew. Smash throwing some sticks into him, and I think Zeus is likely to die. However, gets underneath this turret, and now Owner is the one that's in the wrong position. No more smite for you, T1. as now Peanut can freely take down the Baron. Zeka gonna go golden as well, buy some time. Hostile takeover is so good here from Delight, and Zeka is going to take advantage of it. Smash will be taken down as well as Zeus just bonks him with a lamppost. And Carrier, that is not your turret, buddy. That is a clean ace as well as the Baron over to HLE.
And for T1, we can talk about the draft. We can talk about all the other
Do we have to?
Well, that's my point, right? But the reality is, it's just the gameplay. Night and day.
Oh, nice flash there from Faker. Does not matter, as in the 1v2, Zeka is absolutely going to kill everyone. The dash over and doesn't even need the chains to land. The double kill does come in. Back-to-back solos here from Zeka as Carrier's in trouble. That is going to be Peanut locking that one down. Was that 1v3 sort of thing? I mean, the wallets are so heavy, it's absurd. As Doran goes in and then he goes out via the Death Chamber. As Zeus spinning around, twirling the lamppost, as these Nexus turrets are going to fall one after the other. Zeus not even going to die to the fountain here as Viper looks for the Peacemaker, does not connect it, as the hostile takeover is going to annoy Smash momentarily. Peanut thrown in because the Fate's Call was stolen away, and HLE with the W flash as well. As here is Zeka with the 1v2 solo. I think this moment here is a good example as to why Zeka is probably going to win player of the match. And yeah, not a whole lot of places that he could go. Zeka zero reaction to the situation at all. As Peanut just goes in by himself and kills Carrier.
The reality is just Zeka is our best melee mid laner. And we have a lot of incredible mid laners in the LCK. They all have different strengths.
And melee mid laners as well, like Chovy, for example, sort of made his name on melee mids and tops.
And obviously, you know, as for who's the actual best mid laner, that's a whole different discussion. In the current LCK. But two back-to-back masterclasses from this man.
And Faker did do a lot of damage, but it didn't seem to mean very much. Oh, Zeus as well, my God.
That's a jungler.
Yeah.
More damage than it. That's actually
and it's a
disgusting.
Zhao.
Yeah.
When do you see Zins do that much damage? He did how much more than Ona in this game? Like
it was a not god game.
Yeah, that's like almost 5 times the damage.
Yeah.
Guys, this is Dear for the POM interview translation, joined by Zeka on the side of Hana Life Esports. Congratulations!
팬들이 세러데이 쇼다운인만큼 더 크게 박수를 쳐주시는 것 같습니다. 승리 소감 좀 여쭤볼게요.
네, 오늘 일단
How do you feel?
하면서 오늘 되게 중요한 경기였는데
After the T1 match, it was such a crucial one, but just being able to win against them with a 2-0 feels great. And it looks like Zeka's family is here on site to cheer him on. Let's talk about game 1. You guys took Yone as the B1 pick. So how did you guys prepare for this draft? No, I think in our tier list, Yone is very high up there. And we decided that Yone would be really useful. And it was a quick decision for the earlier phase of the match. So how did you react to your Yone being open? In our preparation, we actually did talk about how Yone might actually be left open, so that was something that we had predicted. And in game 1, the enemy took Nafiri and Ari, a skirmish-heavy mid-jungle comp. So how did you and Peanut plan to deal with this comp? Compared to our mid-jungle comp, we decided that we knew and we were aware that their mid-jungle comp would be pretty heavy and a strong early game. So I think that's just something that we had to keep in mind while playing the game out. And game 2. Oh, it looks like your mother just sent you a heart. Do you want to react back? That was a great response. This was, and then just to talk about game 2, Xin Zhao's pathing was super effective, and from the level 3 mid-gank to bot-gank, he was staying so proactive. I think, you know, initially, I think I was having a really hard time laning, and I think just from Peanut saving me, it actually made the game a lot better for me. And Rod of Ages is a trendy item in the mid lane, so is this just a good item or is this just a situational one? I think Rod of Ages has received a lot of buffs lately, and I feel like it's just really a well-rounded item for any mid champion to start out with, so I think that's why we're seeing a lot of Rod of Ages build. And what is your resolution to keep the momentum going? I think our performance has reached it's going up and it's on the rise, so I hope that we can keep it going. And that's the end of the interview with Zeka. I'm back to the space.